Hey everybody, Steven here, and today I have a video review for the Ronnie Coleman Signature Series Amino Tone, which is his amino acid supplement. So, anybody that doesn't know, Ronnie Coleman, 8-time Mr. Olympia, arguably one of the best bodybuilders in the sport. He's tied Lee Haney for the 8 Mr. Olympia titles, and if anybody follows his current career, he's had some trouble with injuries. He's had a handful of surgeries, a couple on his neck, a couple on his lower back. He has, I think, a hip replacement or two. I don't know if he's done both or just one. But he still hits it hard in the gym. He is having another surgery here pretty soon, so he has been known to lift crazy heavy leading into some of his shows. So there's videos out there, for instance, of him squatting 800 pounds and deadlifting, I believe, 800 pounds. And unfortunately, that's kind of come with the price with his body. But it is nice to see that he has created his own brand. You're kind of seeing that as the standard with a lot of top professionals now. They don't want to kind of rep another brand. They want to have their own so they can control what's in it and take most of the profits with that. So we'll go ahead and get into what is in this. I got this one off of Amazon for, I believe, $26 or $27. Not bad. You get 30 servings with it. It does have that 2 to 1 to 1 ratio with the amino acids, which I'll cover here in a second. But I have the cherry limeade flavor. It's okay. It's not the best tasting supplement I've ever had. I can tell it would appeal to some people because some supplements are way too sweet, some are highly tart. This kind of fits this weird in between. It's not highly sweet, but it's also not highly tart. It's just kind of an in between taste for it. But it's decent. It's not the best though. Calories, we have 5, no fat, 1 grams of carbs, no sugar. It's sweetened with sucralose. Some supplements have gone the way of using stevia to sweeten their supplement. They still haven't got that ratio down where they're putting enough in where it doesn't just taste really, really bad and mask kind of the flavor of all the stuff that they have in it. But this one doesn't have the stevia in it. It has the sucralose, which industry is still kind of using that, which is sweet and low. So next after that, you kind of have your B vitamins and then your electrolytes. So we have sodium citrate, potassium, then you have thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B12, which is cyanocobalamin, and then magnesium. So for your B vitamins, you have 100% on all of those. I'm going to get into the other ones here in a second, your electrolytes. And then after that, you actually have the amino acids, and it is that 2 to 1 to 1 ratio, which is kind of the gold standard right now with a lot of supplements. There are some that go way high, where it's like 10 to 1 to 1 or 2 to 2 to 10 to 2 to 2, or they do different variations of it. Just because leucine's going to have the most muscle building properties to it. But I don't think you necessarily need to go crazy high like that. You could just double up on one of these if you wanted to. Now, with that 2 to 1 to 1 ratio, leucine has the most at 2.5 grams, and then you have 1.25 grams of isoleucine and then valine as well. So you have 5 grams of amino acids in this. Like I said, kind of just the gold standard with that. For anybody that doesn't know why you would want to take a branched chain amino acids or why people do take the supplement, the hepatic system, the liver, has first pass on all the nutrients that you ingest. Certain ones, though, like the branched chain amino acids, it doesn't really have a way to actually kind of break them down and absorb them. So with the branched chain amino acids, what ends up happening is the liver doesn't actually get to soak them up and utilize them. So it actually just goes out into the bloodstream, and then the muscle can take advantage of that. So keeping the muscles fed with these branched chain amino acids, especially for people that are highly active or bodybuilders or they play a sport or something like that, is really, really important. You can take this kind of throughout the day if you want, or like I actually take it during my workout. So I'm making sure that those muscles are fed during the workout. Or if I didn't do that, maybe I did something else during, I actually would take this immediately post. I'd wait 20 minutes and then I'd have my meal. So I'd make sure that I get those amino acids into the muscles first before my body's having to break down food. Now, of course, you're going to get this stuff from food, I just want to make sure that this is in isolation from anything else and that gets in there as quick as possible. After that, we're actually going to get into the kind of proprietary blends that he has in here. And that's my big knock on this supplement, is that it still has the proprietary blends. Industry is slowly doing away with that. That's actually one of the reasons why I do like the gym supplement line a lot, is because he is very, very transparent with what's in there. Some companies are still holding on to the proprietary blend stuff. But a lot of other companies are following suit. They're actually moving away from having proprietary blends as well. They're showing the consumer what they're actually consuming, right? There's transparency there, right? Versus they're just putting in here, and I don't really know the ratios of this. So this, though, it's intra-training performance and hydration complex. It has 3,785 milligrams in it. The first one is L-taurine. Now, L-taurine is an antioxidant. It's a brain stimulant. That's why you see it in a lot of energy drinks. That's obviously the first in that line of stuff that's in this portion of the proprietary blend. So that's going to have the highest amount. If I had to guess, it probably had 1 to 2 grams in there, which typically you're looking at when we look at studies. 1 to 2 grams of taurine is where they're going to see the effect, the positive effect from that. Now, after this, you have potassium phosphate, sodium citrate, and magnesium phosphate, right? Electrolytes. But those are already listed above, and they tell you the amount. So with this, the sodium citrate, as it's listed up here, is 44 milligrams. Okay, the potassium phosphate is 237.6 milligrams, and then the magnesium is 22.5 milligrams. And that makes sense with how they list it here also, because potassium phosphate is after L-taurine, and it has the highest amount listed here, 237.6 milligrams. So I could add all those up and actually subtract them. And I'm most likely going to find that this has probably almost 3 plus milligrams or 3 plus grams of taurine in it. So it has a higher amount in that. It does have this thing called alpha hydroxyleucine calcium salt, or HICA, in it. And that's actually the last thing that you see on this list. But I do know that that's going to be lower than the 22.5 milligrams, because that's what the magnesium's at. So what that does, and I'm going to go off my list here, it claims to be anti-catabolic and anabolic, but there's really only one study that I was able to find on athletes, and that was at 500 to 1,500 milligrams. So this is really, really low compared to that. So when I see something like that, one, there's not a ton of studies on it, and two, it's lower than the dose that they were actually using in the handful of studies that are out there. It's not something that I'm going to put a lot of faith in with that. So it's there, but as far as whether or not it is truly anti-catabolic, which means catabolism is where your body's breaking down muscle to feed itself, right? Or just breaking down muscle. It's anti that, right? So it's anti-breaking down of muscle, or anabolic, right? Anabolic muscle building, right? Anabolic steroids, that's why you hear that word in front of it. So that's in there at the last part. But like I said, I'm not going to put a ton of faith in that. After that, we have stem-free fat loss support complex, 3,180 milligrams. The first thing is L-Alanine. Non-essential amino acid here is converted by the liver into pyruvate, which is critical for production of glucose. It boosts the immune system. And for this, typically when I was looking at the studies, we're seeing an increase in energy production for athletes. So in that regard, yes, L-Alanine is very, very good for that. After that, and my assumption, like I said, same thing, it's the highest one. So I would probably say that that's most likely going to be at the 2 milligram, maybe a little bit more, maybe 2.5 milligram amount for this. Typically with most of the studies, it was more towards that 2.5 milligram or 2.5 gram, amount that I was seeing with that. That was pretty standard for that. After that, raspberry ketones. Anybody follows kind of the health community, that was a huge craze. About 4 or 5 years ago that kind of blew up. Now ketones, right? You're seeing this with people that are intermittent fasting, or they're on a ketogenic diet, or they're taking supplements to put them in ketosis, which just really means that your body's running off of ketones, which is fat, versus glucose, which is going to be carbohydrates, right? Sugar. So it has that in there. They've said that this is supposedly helping with weight loss. Everything that I looked into it when it came out, it maybe had a little bit of promise, but you're better off just maybe doing the intermittent fasting, or just focusing on putting yourself in a ketogenic state versus this. So I'm not huge on the raspberry ketones in this, but that is the second ingredient. After that, you have choline bitartrate. Bitartrate. Typically for this, you're looking at 250 to 500. 250 to 500 milligrams is usually what we're seeing with this. Some of the studies, but they use this for cognition studies as well, and that's usually 1 to 2 grams. So it says cognitive boosting. It turns acetylcholine into acetylcholine, also known as the learning neurotransmitter, and it reduces fatty liver buildup. So in that regard, yes, helping to have the body, or assist the body, lose fat, right? But in this, it's specific. It said to the liver with this. After that, we have an herb, Coleus Forskohlii, if I'm pronouncing that right. Forskohlii. Coleus Forskohlii. This is actually an herb in the Ayurvedic medicine system. It's supposed to boost testosterone and induce fat loss, increase cellular levels of cyclic adenosine monophosphate, or CAMP or CAMP, which is associated with fat loss. It's not highly studied in terms of this being an herb. I think it's good because I'm a huge believer, and I actually am into Ayurvedic medicine and herbalism. I also believe that you should just go take the actual herb and do the dose that you're supposed to, which this is most likely going to be way less than what you're supposed to be taking for these type of properties that it's saying that you would get out of this. But it is in there. And then the last thing is going to be an acetal. And this is an anxiety reducer. Usually you're looking at 200 to 4,000 milligrams a day for this. There's lots of studies in the reduction in anxiety with this. And it actually helps with polycystic ovarian syndrome. It actually promotes female fertility. I didn't find a ton saying that it was really, really good for fat loss, though. It was really more for the anxiety and then the female fertility and the polycystic ovarian syndrome versus that. But this is last on the list. It's most likely going to have the lowest amount anyways. So with that, I always look towards the first thing. The L-Alanine, good. The rest of it is kind of just there. Same thing, the L-taurine is good. The rest of it's just kind of there with that one. But that one's kind of, they kind of dupe you with that, because with the intra-training performance and hydration complex, they're already putting that in there, and they have to list it up above. They could have just left that there, pulled this off, and told you what the L-taurine is. It's like they're regurgitating the same information twice to make it look more impressive, because you wouldn't want just 2 things on there. So that's kind of doopy. Didn't really like that. It's good that it's in there, but just their verbiage for it. And then the last thing, it has Adaptogen, which is trademark deal, which is astragalus, membranous, and panax ginseng. Now, 25 milligrams, super low dose. You're not going to get a ton out of that. But that is going to be Chinese herbalism, and with that we're looking at, it's an adaptogen, which adaptogens help your body adapt to physical stress, right? Well, whether it's non-physical or physical stress, doesn't matter if it's physical or non-physical, it's helping your body adapt to stress in general. So low dose, though, it's not going to do an insane amount for me. Cool that it's there. I would have liked to have seen more in regards to how much they put in it, but if I am going at it at that specific route, I'm most likely going to have, like, I have ginseng, and I'll just make tea out of it, or I'll put it in a smoothie or something like that, right? Or it's already in a tincture form, and I'll take the tincture, for instance, where I'm going to get really the huge boost that I'm looking for that specific herb, okay? So kind of seems like some of the stuff most people, if they're looking at it, what you're coming for is the branched chain amino acids. It does have that in there. The rest of it's kind of there as a byproduct. I think most people want more in their branched chain amino acid supplement versus just the branched chain amino acids. So companies are trying to shove little things in there that may be cost effective for them. So good with the taurine and the L-Alanine. The rest of it I can kind of leave at the wayside. B vitamins and the electrolytes are good. So I am pleased with that. And then same complaint I always have with any of this stuff. We're still using FD and C. We're using the red number 40 dye, right? We're still using dyes in general for these supplements. Artificial natural flavors, whatever the hell that means, right? I mean, with these, there's this verbiage that they're using to kind of dupe versus just saying this is what's in it. So that's still in there. Not necessarily pleased to see that, but that's kind of what I'm seeing with even some of the supplements that I really, really like. So overall, it's just okay. I was hoping for more. If you're just wanting a branched chain amino acid drink, a supplement, like any of them work. Some have caffeine in them. This one doesn't, but some of them have caffeine in it. Some don't. So you could kind of have that dictate whether or not you're going to buy like if I want a little bit of a boost from the caffeine and I don't want to necessarily take a pre-workout, you can go a route where that has caffeine in it. This one doesn't, but they're all going to kind of be the same as long as they have that 2-to-1-to-1 ratio. Then it's based off taste, and then you can kind of assess, does it have some of this extra stuff in here that to me I want to get? L-taurine, L-alanine, things like that. Those smaller doses amount, I'm not usually worried. Look at the biggest ingredient on that. If you can find stuff that doesn't have a proprietary blend, also even better, because now there's more transparency with what you actually have in that supplement. So overall, okay. Kind of hope for more out of the Ronnie Coleman Signature Series. Now this is just the branched chain amino acid supplement, though. I haven't tried the pre-workout. I haven't tried his protein. I haven't tried anything else. This one, it's okay. It's decent. If you're looking for just a general branched chain amino acid, I would recommend it for sure. But like I said, what's your intent with the branched chain amino acid supplement? And then that can kind of guide you with where you're going to go. I have a ton of other reviews for branched chain amino acids supplements on my YouTube channel that you can look at as well and kind of see what's going to be best for you in that regards. So hopefully this review has helped anybody that was curious about the Ronnie Coleman Amino Tone supplement. Hopefully I can try some of the other stuff here soon. I have some other ones in the work right now that I've been testing for the last couple weeks that I'm going to be getting to as well. So if you guys like this video, please hit the like button for me. If you want to continue to follow along with all the stuff that I cover, whether it's supplement reviews, home workouts, medical exercise stuff, MoveNet stuff, mobility drills, whatever it is, hit the subscribe button for me and kind of continue along this journey with me. Thanks for watching, guys.